Hey everyone, this is Chris from D'Souza Knives and Leather, and today I'm bringing you a very special unboxing. These are Nick's handmade boots, arguably the best boots you can buy in the world, but most importantly, they're made in the USA, special for you, to your feet, to your specifications, whatever you need, whether it's a work boot, casual boot, wild and firefighter boot, serious hard-working boots. These will last you decades, and as a boot guy, this is my holy grail. I'm going to be posting this on the Attic channel, where my brother is one of the co-owners of the Attic New York, and they're very big on sneakers. Sneakers are cool and I enjoy them, but I am into boots, and if you're into sneakers, you've heard the term grails. This is my, and probably for many people, the holy grail of boots. So before I get too deep into it, let's open it up and see why someone would pay $500 for boots, right? Of course, handmade in the USA, those are 2 hints right there, but let's see what we have inside. This is very heavy. A lot of leather in this box. Let's get that out of your way. Okay, right away we've got a warning sign to stop. Welcome to Nick's. Okay, so basically, from what I understand, this is telling you that if you bought a stock size, which means you didn't get custom fitted, don't wear your boots outside and just try them on to make sure they fit before you start wearing them, so that you don't run into issues and then be unable to return the item. I chose not to get custom fitted for a couple of reasons, but most importantly, I'd had a pair of whites boots before, and I was very confident in my size, and having read that the whites and Nicks run very similar in size, but if you're buying a pair of these, I highly recommend you go through their fitting process, whether you can get in store, and that would be perfect. They can measure you. If not, they can do a remote fitting. They mail you items in the mail to where you can measure yourself, send it in. It's just a longer process, but I was confident enough in my size that I knew what I was getting. So we have a lot here. First and foremost, we've got some socks, very nice socks. These are poly nylon. Nick's was running a promo. I don't know if they still are. I don't believe they are, to where you get an accessory bundle with your order of a pair of their 2-week ship boots, which I know 2 weeks for many people seems like a very long shipping time, but that is very quick for handmade boots. So I'm actually very happy in how quickly they arrived. Now here I've got a pair of laces. There should be another one because the accessory bundle says there was an extra pair of laces. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just 1 pair. Set that aside. All right. Got some literature here. My user. Only a pair. I got some stories. You've got some of the brand story, some tips and suggestions, some break-in suggestions. I'm very familiar with all this because I really did my research for spending this much on some footwear, and you should too. And I hope this video helps to contribute to that. You don't want to, as I knew already this before, for the boots, these boots are going to have a brutal break-in. There's no way around that. They're going to hurt. They're going to squeeze your foot. You're probably going to want to wear them at home while you relax, because you definitely don't want to be doing any serious work in brand new, all leather handmade boots, because, and I know that seems counterintuitive. You spend so much on boots, they're going to hurt. That doesn't make sense. But these are about the long game. So 10, 20, 30 years from now, when you've resold and rebuilt these many times, they're going to still be working for you, and that break-in period is not going to seem that bad. And that break-in period is actually they recommend 80 to 100 hours, so definitely a lot more than your factory off-the-shelf footwear, but it's worth it. From all the testimonials I've seen, I feel confident in saying it's worth it. So here's the last part of the accessory bundle. Some of Nick's heavy-duty leather preservative. I've heard very good reviews on this too. And yeah, you definitely only want to grease your boots once they're clean, and you don't want to over grease them. You don't want to grease them while they're breaking in. You don't want to grease around the eyelets because that could soften up leather and then pull your hooks and eyelets out. This is very good stuff. From what I understand, this is actually Oberhof, a very good leather cream and conditioner producer. Branding for Nicks, so you've got a doubly excellent product right there. Let's set that aside. And now to the meat and potatoes of the video, the actual boot. So this one's got the tag. We'll set that one aside. We'll work with the one that doesn't have a tag for now. And we'll get this box out of the way. Here's the boot. Now, as you can see from this funny angle, this is a tall boot. This one has, oh, there's the other pair of laces. So the accessory bundle comes with an extra pair, and then you got your normal pair in here. Awesome. And these are leather. From what I understand, wildland firefighters used to use leather because it doesn't burn like modern many synthetic materials. But you have to take care of these. They won't take as much abuse as modern synthetic materials, but these are fantastic, especially for the heritage look, and obviously still for real work because wildland firefighters do still use them. So here's the boot. As you can see, I chose the traditional hot shot style. What does that mean? That means that it's got this smooth upper, smooth tongue, smooth upper, and the vamp here and the heel, the counter smooth, but the heel and the vamp are rough out leather. What does that mean? That means the leather is inside out. Now I work with leather myself, so here's the inside, there's the outside. This is veg tan leather, which is a little different, but so they turned it inside out. The reason being that it is more abrasion resistant than the smooth side, which will mark up a lot more easily. So yeah, so seeing as the vamp and the heel are two places which are closest to the ground and are going to get most beat up, it makes sense to go with this design. And I'm not a wildland firefighter, but I wanted this design because for me this is their iconic boot. All right, so moving on from there, let's move on to the chunky part. So this is the sole. Now, first thing that'll stick out to those of you who are unfamiliar is screws and stitching around here. I mean, it's amazing to me what they can stitch through that much rubber. So you've got glue, stitching, and screws holding that on. This is not going anywhere. And as you can see from the red X, this is a proper firefighting boot. This rubber is designed to stand on hot coals and all those other things you face when you're fighting wildland fire. And then the stitching here is also self-extinguishing. That's all part of the NFPA rated boots, which is what I opted for. Because what does that mean? That means that they have been approved for firefighting. And why is that important? Well, if you're a firefighter, they need to be approved. You have to. But for me, as a knife maker, I stand with my feet underneath a 2x72 grinder all day, which is just chewing away at steel all day and showering my feet in sparks. So all this thread here would get burnt up if I didn't have these specific boots. What else is special about these? Now this may look similar to other factory boots, this heel stack here, but that is not plastic. That is layers and layers and layers of stacked leather. I mean, phenomenal workmanship. It has, as you can see, a very high arch, tall heel. I mean, just excellent craftsmanship. Nails holding everything together. And I know if you're new to boots, you think just nails. I don't want nails sticking up in my footwear. You know, it's gonna hurt. Eventually, it's gonna wear through or something. But and I highly recommend you watch the factory tour by a YouTube channel called Wrangler Star, because it's so enlightening. The entire time they're building this boot, they have a plastic thing inside, shaped like a foot, and that's called the last. Now what's special is it's got a metal plate underneath, and as you hammer those nails in, if you imagine this is the nail being hammered in, it hits that metal plate and hooks around to hold everything together. So even if that insole leather ever wore through, which it never will. I'm trying to get an angle here where you can see it. There it is. If that ever wore through, you still wouldn't feel the nails because they are curved away from your foot. So excellent construction. If you want to see details on how they're built, check out Wrangler Star's video. Check out Rose Anvil to see these cut in half. Phenomenal boots made in the USA. And I think now more than ever, it's important to support made in the USA, because we're realizing that we can't depend on other countries all the time. You know, when things get bad, supply lines get cut off. It's good to be able to manufacture things in your country, and also to have some pride. So these boots are definitely something I will be very proud of. And just for comparison's sake, you know, here is what I consider an entry-level high-end boot. You know, in my mind, the best boot in the world, entry-level good boot. And this is the iconic Red Wing Iron Ranger. It's got a cork sole, cork nitrile, I believe, and it's Goodyear welted. What does that mean? It's got a Goodyear welt is the best entry-level construction you can get. If you have a, for example, very entry-level boot or fashion boot, which is almost what I consider Doc Martens to be, they call themselves Goodyear welted. They're kind of fused. It's just not great. Rose Anvil has some great videos on why these are not great. This is much better construction. This is Goodyear welted, holds everything together, can be resold a few times, right? What makes these worth so much more than these, right? And honestly, I am more surprised by how low the price are on these. This is $350, I forget, 500. And the difference in construction between them is night and day. And you have to watch the factory tour and cut down videos to see that. But it really, really is shocking that they can sell these for so cheap. And don't take that as me recommending you raise the price. I hope you keep them where they are, because I want to buy many more. Yeah, it's just so much leather in this boot that you can't even see. When you cut these in half, it's just stacks of leather. And what does that mean? That means that not only can these be resold like other good boots, where they remove this rubber outsole and nicks will actually replace the heel, entire heel stack. Put that on. So let's say you've worn your boots, worked with them 2 years, resole them, and then 2 more years go by, you resole them again. 2 more years go by, now you send them in for a rebuild, where they take the entire boot apart and replace whatever needs to be replaced, send it back to you, and it's like getting a brand new pair of boots, but they're already broken in. It's incredible. Compared to Iron Rangers, you're gonna pay a similar amount to resole. These are not rebuildable. As a matter of fact, I've had people tell me they've had experience with Red Wing where, oh, such and such is cracked inside the leathers, blah blah blah. We can't fix it. So you might get 1 or 2 resoles out of these, which is a lot more than you'll get out of these. However, you'll get many results out of this, especially if you take care of them. You want to try not to kick too many things. The better care you take care of your welt, the better care you take of your welt, the more likely they are to be able to resole instead of having to rebuild it. So you're going to get a much better value long term if you just take care of your boots and invest in a quality handmade American pair of boots. So in short, would I recommend these so far? Yes. It's an unboxing video. I normally wouldn't recommend something on an unboxing video, but these have such an incredible legacy so far that I'm perfectly comfortable recommending them. And I will get back and change things if I change my opinion, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. So, good luck to all of you, and get yourself a nice pair of American-made footwear.